Yes, welcome back to the international special of the Play On Scottish Football Show. I'm David Simmons with Stephen Commons. We're waiting on our fellow friend Simon Rennie joining us as he appears on the screen. We'll include him in. I don't know if he's having some difficulties.
The first half must have been that bad. He's just sacked it off. He's not even bothered. No.
That's it. Well, tonight we're covering before, during and after coverage of the World Cup qualifier between Scotland and the Faroe Islands. Stephen, what's your opinion of the first half?
It started really, really well. 6 minutes, I think it was, that they scored. Great little move as well. McGregor did really well. And I think, Tierney's been outstanding on that left-hand side.
Yep.
It's been quite a strange setup down the left-hand side, but I think it's worked really well. They've put Andy Robertson really high, almost played him like as a winger, but he's coming inside a lot to try and create that space for Tierney, which in a way has worked up to a point, but it kind of bottlenecks it at points as well. So the Faroes are flooding guys across to that side to kind of cover that movement. But Ryan Fraser's they've not really got him into the game very often at all. He's not really had a chance to run at his fullback. So I'd be looking at that as an option in the second half. But I think the balance of the midfield is all wrong. There's too many neat and tidy players in there. Not enough guys that are willing to kind of get on the ball, drive, take us. The only one is McGinn, but McGinn is obviously playing almost like a 10, so he's playing way higher up. The two guys who are playing in the kind of holding roles, they're just not breaking enough lines for me. They're not moving the ball quick enough either. So, all it takes is you move that ball quick enough. You've got that movement down the left-hand side. When that was looking like it's breaking down, if we had somebody with the ability to get the ball, couple of passes and spread that out to the right hand side, move them quicker, and that's where the spaces for the front two will get created. So it's it's not a disaster, but I think it could have been a lot easier, a lot better, and I think Steve Clarke will have things to say to them at halftime.
Yeah, absolutely. And just as you finish up speaking, Stephen, we can welcome Simon Rennie at the show. Welcome alongside.
Better late than never, Simon. Better late than
never. We're just finishing a big bar of chocolate, sorry.
Ah, right, I see. All right. I thought you were watching the Salt and Sauce show that just went live tonight as well. One of my other shows that I do was with former SNP politician Rosa Zambanini. So,
do you know what this is, mate? Do you know what this is? Plug. A shameless plug. A shameless plug. The guy's got no shame.
If you weren't watching there, Si, obviously Stephen was bigging up Kieran Tierney, how he's started really well, and it's kind of the emphasis on the comments as well that Kieran Tierney he's started really quite well, and yep, here we go again. Yes, started off brilliant. Kieran Tierney's playing really well. Fraser's on his own all the time. Would you agree with that, Si? Is Fraser being a wee bit out in the side, just not getting involved enough?
I don't think he's not getting involved enough. We've not been making the switch to him. He's there. He's definitely an option because obviously we're hugging the left-hand touchline with Robertson and Tierney, which we're going to do when you've got two guys like that can just pick and choose where to go, if you know what I mean. I think an outlet is definitely trying to bring Fraser into the game with a switch. I mean, he's there and he's good enough to get involved, get on the ball. And then the more we bring him in, he'll bring in Shea Adams and Dykes. Definitely. Dykes, he took a good 15-20 minutes to get himself settled, I noticed.
There was a few misplaced passes in the first 10 minutes. I was thinking, but the thing is, you've got to remember, these two have literally never played with each other. They've probably never met until about 3 days ago. So you're not going to just straight away get an unbelievable partnership. But I think at times they have linked up pretty well. But you're right, side. Dykes looked very rusty in the first. But he's come back. He's come into it a little bit more. But I just think, I was saying before you came on, side, that the midfield, the makeup of that midfield just seems to me to be kind of all wrong. They don't have a guy in that midfield who's going to get the ball and move it quickly, because that's what's required. They're going down that left-hand side and they got a bit of joy with it, but now the Faroes have kind of clocked onto that and they're just bottlenecking that left-hand side to try and stop but that's when somebody like Fraser or McGinn is going to drop into those wee pockets and find the spaces. But the two guys, like you've got McGregor and McLean, they're neat and tidy players, but they're not going to get the ball, spin on it, and get at the back four straight away. Again, I know we keep going back to the same guy, but David Turnbull, it's crying out for a guy like David Turnbull. It's mental not having it
against a team like the Faroes. That's, I would say, your Rangers, your Celtic, your better Scottish clubs would give the Faroes, who are an international team, they'd give them a game.
They'd give them a tank in, mate.
You know what I mean?
I was listening to the commentary in the first half, and they were talking about this guy was in the Aberdeen Academy up till 2009. This guy was in the Newcastle Academy. He went on loan to Gateshead. I mean, come on, is this the level that we're playing against?
Exactly.
I don't feel that we're in any danger. I mean, obviously, Craiggie's made that unbelievable save in the first half.
My next point, I'm coming to Stephen. I mean, how vital was that save? I mean, that shot was on target. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, the question you need to ask is, would Gordon have saved that goal against Austria?
Israel,
sorry, I do apologise. The one a bit weak hands, maybe latest wrist, as I would say, for
it was
Marshall.
Almost, I know there were different strikes and they were different, but they were in a similar area, and Craig Gordon's got pretty much the same contact, I would say, that Marshall got in the one against Israel. But the difference is Craig Gordon's tipped it over the bar and Marshall didn't get enough on it. So it's difficult to say Craig Gordon would have saved that shot against Israel. It's all hypotheticals. But I think Craig Gordon's done himself no harm at this moment in time. And the thing that I was thinking about maybe coming into this game is he's got an opportunity here to kind of put himself strongly in the number one, but we're only playing the Faroe Islands. I mean, he might not even get a shot into him, but you've got such a high quality strike coming at him so early in the game, and he's proven that in times like that when maybe you are only going to get one or two shots into you in a match, but a top quality goalkeeper like he is, he's got the ability to kind of deal with that when it comes around. So good on him.
Yeah, a lot of praise for Gordon on the comments. Bill says that Gordon showing Marshall how to save a long shot. Yeah, great save from Gordon. It was needed. Absolutely, guys. I mean, that's given Steve Clarke something to think about now, Si, hasn't it? I mean, obviously he's got a bit of loyalty towards Marshall, but when you're making saves like that, that's basically cemented yourself in the team, is it not?
It usually would, but as Stephen's saying, against the Faroes, it might not go for him. Although it's a cracking save, if there's not much else to do in the game, then Steve Clarke's got nothing to go on. I think what will help is Marshall not playing for Derby at the moment. Gordon playing for Hearts and getting loads of shots in at him because of defences murder. So that might stand Gordon in good stead going forward. You're going to have 3 or 4 friendlies before the World Cup. It'll come down to those matches. You would imagine they'll both get the same amount of game time, and whoever proves their worth, I think I'll get the nod. But Gordon, he's a really good professional, and he could stand the test of being Scotland's number one again, no problem. Yeah,
no, absolutely. I mean, one thing that I have been able to hear from the commentary, Stephen, and well, not the commentary, sorry, but the audio from the game, you can really hear Steve Clarke yelling. I mean, there was an explicit couple of F-bombs being dropped, I heard from Steve Clarke. I mean, that just shows the passion that he has got to drive the players and the team forward, doesn't it?
Nah, and it's encouraging that you get the impression he's not the kind of guy that's going to go in there at halftime and go, well done, lads, we're 1-0 up, just like keep chipping away. He's going to go in and demand a standard, which is what you need. And I think that was potentially what McTominay was hinting at in his comments after the match, and just sort of say, like, we need to start believing that we're actually a decent footballing side. We can play well, and we just need to believe that in ourselves. And if the manager needs to go in and absolutely rattle a few cages to get that message across, then do it. I just think that I would, if I was Steve Clarke, obviously I don't think I'd be changing anything up at half time. I think you kind of let them go out in the second half, but I would be looking to address that midfield issue for me. I think defensively we look really, really solid. I mean, they're not really offering that much going forward. I think the game will be won and lost in midfield. And if we can get some supply to these two up front, because at the moment they're feeding off scraps, really. They had... Che Adams has disappointed me in a way as well. From what I've seen of him, there was one opportunity where he got away from the defender. And I mean, he's at the left-hand side of the box, so he's not going to get an easy strike on the... But he just kind of overran the ball when the defender caught up with him and tackled him. I think if I was him and you're looking to try and make your mark early doors, get clear of your defender, get the ball out your feet and just bang that across the face of goal. If it goes in, it goes in. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But you show a sign of intent. I just think that he looks a bit nervous, which is maybe natural. He's new to the international football. But I just think if we can get a couple of opportunities for these guys, we need to start sort of trying to feed into them a bit more than we have been.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you have a look at the results for the other games in the group, it's Austria 0, Denmark 0, Moldova 1, Israel 1, and obviously Scotland 1, the Faroes 0. I mean, Si, how important is the 3 points? We touched on this before, but it is massive, massive game. What do you think would happen if the Faroes do get another shot on goal like that, but this time it finds the back of the net? Do you think the backsides will fall out the Scottish players, or will they have to respond? I suppose it's fight or flight at that point, isn't it?
It is. If it's early on in the second half, yeah, we'll give us. I reckon we could go on and win. But if it's anything after 70 minutes, I think we'll struggle. And
it's just unthinkable.
It's unthinkable. I mean, if we don't win tonight, it goes down to the whole thing at Hearts with Brora Rangers.
Well, this
where
is
Robbie
the thing,
should have walked away.
If Scotland didn't win tonight, the heat's off Hearts off completely. But nah, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that.
It shouldn't happen. Obviously, it does happen in football, but it only happens every so often, and it's already happened this season with Hearts getting beat for Brora, thankfully.
I mean, Scotland did come out flying, like we say, after 6 minutes getting that opening goal. Was it just me that thought this is going to be double figures?
Well, they had one. I think it was like 3 or 4 minutes later, where Tierney cut down the left again, and I think it was Robertson that cut down the left, cut it back, and it's right on McGinn's left foot. He's just all he needs to do is just away. And but you can see Dykes about 2 or 3 minutes later when the play broke down. He sought out McGinn and says to him, "You need to." So obviously he's not heard the shout or not. There hasn't been a shout. But yeah, if he's doesn't get a toe on that, it's straight into McGinn's path, and that's 2-0, and it's game over at that point. So, but then the Faroes did come into it. They did. You have to say they did come into it possession wise, and they had that one chance that Gordon saved. But again, listen, let's not get like too far ahead of ourselves. I think Scotland are more than capable of going out and getting a couple of goals and killing this tie off completely. But I just think that exactly quick goal. That's exactly what they need. They need a goal in the first 10 minutes. That is, and it's good night Vienna if that happens. Yeah. Would you agree with the last part of that message and bring McBurney on?
No.
My favourite kind of comedy is sarcasm, and I think that's what Stephen's playing it here. Get McBurney on and give us a laugh.
If we get a couple of goals up, we could just bring him. We'd be like a mascot or something. Just bring him on. It'll be funny.
I mean, I kind of get this point as well by Adam. How's Kenny McLean in the Scotland squad ahead of Turnbull, let alone starting? Would you agree with that?
Definitely.
They're different types of players and they offer different things. But I think if you actually look at it, like see when the squad was announced, I was quite happy with the makeup of the squad. But when you actually look at it and break it down, all the midfield players are very similar. They're very, very samey. You don't have that sort of maverick in the middle of the park. And I think Turnbull, even Gilmore and Fleck are quite similar to the guys who are still playing now. So David Turnbull, to me, again, broken record here, but he stands out as somebody who could have came on and made an impact in this game, or started and ran the show, to be honest.
Brian makes a good point. Turnbull can't do 60 minutes, never mind 90. Is that a fitness thing? Is that?
I don't know. It's only because the Celtic coaching staff, for whatever reason, don't deem him to be able to play 90 minutes. I mean, I don't know if he's physical. He was playing 90 minutes every week when he was at Motherwell, so I don't know what the issue is now.
Yeah, no, very good point. I mean, the players are back out in the pitch. We'll be back on at full time. Do keep the comments coming. There has been a few. It's myself, Stephen Commons, and substitute Simon Rennie on the show tonight. One of our mutual friends has been in touch. Great to see someone on the show with less hair than Simmy. Brilliant show, chaps. Craig Gordon for number one. Si, I don't think that was aimed at Chubb. So
that's all right. By the way, Stephen's never told you that's a wig. That's a Johnny he's got on. By the way, Tom McGinn scored one of my 4.
Oh, well, the prediction's still on. There was the comment, where are we, that still says her predictions, prediction still stands 1-1. There we go. It'll be interesting to see. The game is underway. They're 30 seconds into the second half. I'll let you go and enjoy that, but make sure you tune in at full time for the full time reaction from the Play On Scottish Football Show. We'll catch you all then.